What is going on, Tuesday Titans and Wednesday Warriors? It is TJ, aka Flash by Night, and you are watching the re-up, where we basically go over new comic book day books and any other books I ran across throughout the week. Actually, this week I just have my few new comic book day books. It's not a grand haul. It's only I think 6 books I picked up from the new comic book store, and so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into those, show you what I got. 5 are new, 1 is new-ish, and I guess we're going to start off there. Before we get too far, after my video is over, you should be able to slide right over to Justin Ricken and his comics for Tag Team Tuesday. It starts off with Rod and then goes to a few other fellas. John's Comics with Kids, Old Wolf, Comics Kings, and then Justin at No Good Comics. There'll be links in the chat. They drop a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of entertainment about new comic, concerning new comic book day and comics in general. So check those guys out and get back to check this out. So my first book for new comic book day is Flash 771, the cardstock B cover. And so I got 771, the A cover, a few weeks back when it came out. I gave it a read. I enjoyed it. I covered it on the channel because, well, actually, I may have covered it on IG with a quick video, but I was really interested because this book started off with Wally, who had been traveling through time and space through the Speed Force, not of his own volition, but he was traveling through time and space through the Speed Force and ended up basically in the Super Friends cartoon version of the Legion of Doom, and he had to make his way out of there. He and Barry Allen and Mr. Terrific and Oliver Queen, who had been helping out, kind of figured a way out of there. And then he got to talk to a family member who kind of let him know that things are going to be all right, no matter how they seem now, because as he's traveling through the Speed Force and through time and space, the one place he hasn't gone to yet that I think he's going to go, and cover A kind of teases it, is that he's got to go back to the spot of Heroes in Crisis. I know people don't like Heroes in Crisis. A lot of people hate it, say they did the character wrong and everything, and I'm not going to have that fight right now, but it happened while he had a bad, I want to say 10 years, that kind of culminated in Heroes in Crisis. Things happen. Of course, you see the cover. Kind of A has a lot of Wally's life kind of played out on the cover, but B, a lot of Wally's friendship with Roy Harper, because we all know that Roy Harper dies in Heroes in Crisis, basically because of Wally. And so the Speed Force, I think, wants him to revisit that moment in order to learn what he needs to learn in order to take over as the full-time Flash. And so that's what we're doing, or that's what we're teasing and heading towards in this book. And I believe the Flash annual that comes out, I think, next week, will kind of visit where they go from here. But yeah, I wanted to pick up this B cover because I like the cover with him and Roy Harper and kind of all the scenes from his life. Young, old, Titans, Teen Titans, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I wanted this B cover, and I had the store hold it for me, basically for a light week, pretty much. And I went ahead and brought it home today. So that's Flash 771, the B cover, the cardstock cover. Sticking with DC, my first new comic book day book is Batman Secret Files, The Signal number 1. Now, anyone that's crazy enough to listen to me has heard me say before, I think that this should be DC's Miles Morales if they ever get their head together. But outside of that, this book was a lot to take in. So Duke Thomas has a good bit of history coming into this book. He has a lot of history, but not a lot of books for that history. And so we jump into here, and we catch up with old friends we haven't seen for years. We have Batman kind of put the Signal back on his, I want to say throne, back on his throne as the daytime protector of Gotham, which is what he should be, which is what Batman wants him to be, ever since he suited up as the Signal the first time. And then we meet a new villain who really, really got on my nerves. I don't know if he's written like that on purpose, but he really got on my nerves. And then we have some movement with his parents, because his parents also have a deep history in this story. And so Batman Secret Files number 1, The Signal, was a pretty good book. I like the things that they did I like the story they're trying to tell in this book, but they may have crammed too much into this one book, because there's no telling when they're going to give me some more Duke Thomas. I think that's the reason why there's so much in this book. It's almost like 2 or 3 stories within this one book. And I'm afraid it's because I won't get any more Duke Thomas in the near future. And that's, for me, that's kind of sad, because that's who I really want to pick up. All of the other Bat proteges, even the Dick Graysons of the world, the Jason Todds. I know Tim Drake's fans are like, boo-hoo. But Damian, all of these Batman proteges are getting their time to shine. They're getting their time in the sun. And I got one Signal book. I'm hoping for more. We'll see if I get more, but I'm not so sure. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, Batman Secret Files number 1, The Signal. I had to have it. Hopefully I get more. My next new comic book day book I have not read yet, but it is Wonder Girl, issue number 2. Of course, issue number 1 saw Yard Floor kind of flashback to some old family issues, I'll say, in issue number 1, and then she comes forward to Brazil to find something, and there are other Amazons in and around the world who are kind of interested either in what she's going to find or interested in her not finding whatever it is. So issue number 2, I want to jump in and see what's going on. It looks like a pretty good book. Looks like a pretty good ride is going to happen with Yard Floor, and I am here for it. My next book is from Marvel. It's the only Marvel book I have this week. But as you know, I don't have a big stack of books any week. And so I may only have 1 or 2 Marvel, 1 or 2 DC, or 1 or 2 indie books a week anyway. But I have XMen number 1. What is this? The Momoko and Ibon Coelho. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, their variant. I wanted XMen number 1, but I got this particular variant because it's a Peach Momoko cover that isn't a traditional Peach Momoko cover. Because, some people think that she's kind of one-dimensional, you could say. And I wanted to kind of, take a look at a different art style, a different cover. I don't know how much is her and how much is Ibon. But it was a pretty good looking cover, and I decided to grab that. And I want to see what's going on with the X-Men. I get anxiety at times about getting X-Men books because I'm probably one of many people who are interested in the X-Men, but I don't want to grab like 6 or 7 X books. And so if whatever the X-Men story is contained in here, and maybe X Corp, however long it goes, and maybe in Inferno, and maybe one more book, I'll be okay with it. But if it sprawls out like that gives me a little bit of anxiety, and I tend to drop X books. Even if they're good, I tend to drop X books before I grab a bunch of them. So hopefully they can contain the story a little bit, and I'll follow it for the time being. My next book is from Dark Horse, Masters of the Universe, Revelation Issue 1. Now, for those who are keeping up, you know that this is the prequel comic to the Masters of the Universe Revelations TV show or animated series coming to Netflix. And I had to have this book, and this book is the first book I read for a New Comic Book Day, and it's really interesting. Supposedly the story itself, at least the Netflix show, so maybe the book itself picks up after the old cartoon. It's supposed to be the same timeline as the cartoon we all watched when we were younger. And we kind of learn some more about the royal family history here. We get a tease that some things are afoot. I don't want to get too deep into it here. We kind of get a tease that some evil is happening. Skeletor is supposed to be gone, and but the king, is it Randor? Is the king's name Randor? I think it is. He thinks that something evil is coming, and eventually something does show up. Something dramatic happens at the castle, and He-Man has to kind of go into this portal and travel throughout time to find out why this event took place. The name Revelation kind of comes up a couple of times in the book, including a couple of times when they make sure to point out that we don't tell lies, we don't keep secrets around here, which the name Revelation clearly is saying that there's a secret to be told. And Kevin Smith has said what the secret is in the show, but I'm not going to say it here. If you pick up the book and don't look for any material about what the show is supposed to be about, the book is pretty good. The thing people worry about with the show that I've seen does not show up in this book yet. So we'll keep up with it. This will probably be the first book I actually do a review on when I do my reviews throughout the week. But Masters of the Universe #1, a little wordy. The art I can take or leave, but I'm pretty invested in the story and I want to see where it goes. And the last book I have for a New Comic Book Day comes from Image, and it is Nocterra #5 by Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel. So we all kind of know what Nocterra is now. You know, the world got drenched in darkness. The darkness somehow is turning animals and people into strange creatures. And we have our driver Val and her brother and a couple of other passengers trying to seek out secrets to maybe bring the light back. And we might have gotten a glimpse of that in the last issue, but there's also a villain, Blacktop Bill, that's still hot on her heels. And yeah, we'll see what happens in this book. Issue #4 kind of left off at a really, really good spot and had, if you were reading this book, had you really, really hooked. And so I'm going to pop open issue number 5 and see what it has to give us. So there are also 2 books that I wanted to get a hold of this week, but were not in my shop. And so I'm going to have to do some looking around and see if I can find them in another shop, or maybe online at a reasonable price. But those 2 books are Ordinary Gods, number 1, and of course everyone's favorite, Nice House on the Lake, issue 2. If I can find either one of those, I'll probably pick those up. But if not, what I have right now is what I have for New Comic Book Day. If you do not know, right now I am sliding right in front of Tag Team Thursday. Basically, a group of shows starting with Rod the Rican on Just the Rican and his Comix channel. And then it goes on to John's Comics with Kids, then Old Wolf 65, and then Comics King's channel, and Justin at No Good Comics. They do a wonderful job covering New Comic Book Day, covering themes, and giving out good entertainment and good information. And also, they will, if you go to Just the Rican and his Comics at about 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern time, as you're watching it, people, other participants will be dropping links in the chat, and so you can go from show to show, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Ride the whole train. It's fun. I try to do it every week when I can, but that's what's coming up behind my show. But as for my show, as for this here, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you saw something you liked. I hope you saw a book you might want to pick up. If you did enjoy yourself, if you did want to keep on seeing me and keep on seeing my content, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and as always, leave comments in the chat. And as I always say, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.